Welcome everybody to Two Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room. Hey, I got Joe with Ultimate Veteran Adventures. Hey, how you doing, Joe?
Good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Hey, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and give them kind of a background of how you became military oriented.
Well, my name is Joe Wesner. I live in Ohio, and I've always wanted to be in the military as long as I can remember. Grandfather was a little bit too. He used to tell me stories all the time. And finally, I was 21, went to college. Um, Decided I was gonna finally join at 21, and wanted to pay the rest of my college off. So there was nothing going on at the time. It was May of '01, so it was still kind of peace time, if you will. Got in. 9/11 happened in basic, and it was over for me. That was it.
Okay.
I was decided this was going to be a career, and I wanted to do like 20, 30 years. Finally, just I did just under 14 before being medically retired. So
Okay.
went in as an infantryman, and coast to Iraq, to Afghanistan, multiple deployments to all of them. 20, 2010 was my last deployment, and in 2014 they finally medically retired. So yeah, didn't get my full career, but I am retired and can't
Yeah.
complain.
Yeah, man. So you came so you're kind of like me. You came in before 9/11. And lately here I've had a lot of people on the show that are they came in after 9/11. And I don't know about how you feel, but I think it's a different breed of soldier that you get, post 9/11 versus, pre. When I came in, it was, the Clinton era, and it was 9 to 5. And I mean,
Right.
literally you could set your watch by the field schedules and the training events and everything else. And I don't know if that was part of, the thought process of going into the special ops, was because of how slow it was. But, after 9/11, man, the life just sped up. And
Yeah,
those soldiers came in knowing ahead of time what it was that they were going to get into, you know.
exactly.
So and I think we're going to see another breed too. We got a lot of soldiers that hit the tail end of the war that are going to be coming back, and it's going to be a whole nother type of treatment that's going to be needed for these guys compared to us, compared to the Vietnam and era back. It seems like as the stages of the wars change, so does the back home treatments.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I
um
agree.
so where all were you stationed at?
101st.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. I was in the 160th, so you're probably familiar with those guys.
yeah, absolutely. I was with
Yep.
the Pathfinder Company.
Okay. Yep. I was actually in Savannah. I was with 3rd Battalion, but I went through their little green platoon
Yeah, yeah,
selection course or whatever down
yeah,
there at Campbell and whatnot. Good times, man.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So how long did you say you ended up staying in? Was it, you said 6 or 4?
It was just under 14
It's
years.
under 4. Okay.
Yeah,
And in 4 years, how many deployments did you have from the 101st? Because I know they were busy as hell too.
I have 5 deployments.
Yeah. I mean, you think about that. 4 years, 5 deployments. I mean, that is
14
insane.
years.
Oh,
14,
14 years. Okay.
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even still, that's almost 50% of your career.
I mean, they were a year and a half deployments.
Yeah. So yeah, it
So
was it was a
it
50%.
was just go, go, go. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't a deployment, it was at school. I
Yeah.
was doing some kind of training somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And people don't even think about that. So, you know, when I was in the 160th, we had a company that was supporting Colombia. We were in the Philippines, we were in Iraq, Afghanistan, and we still supported the 75th and all their training events in the States. So I mean, we were
Sure.
in 5 theaters as
Yeah,
really a battalion. That's all we really were,
right.
And so yeah, I ended up doing 68 months total out of my 20-year career. So
Wow.
not too far behind you. And,
Yeah.
and I've always felt that there should be there should be a law that says how much they can deploy soldiers, because I really do think, I'm not going to compare what wars had it worse. All right. Obviously, if you looked at fighting and the terrain and the environments, Vietnam and the technology they had in World War I and II, they were all probably a much harder type of person that would require to live that kind of thing. So to do a year over there is probably similar to multiple years for us, but not taking anything away from us as well. When you start looking at how much you are gone from your family and how much you are deployed, and the constant, you come back and they say, okay, you get a year of dwell time. Well, that's not true, because you get 3 months, and then it goes into training cycles to
Yep.
get ready for the next deployment.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I've really felt that way, and I never thought about that. I was like every other soldier. I preferred to be deployed. The money was better. The life was simpler. I mean, I literally got up, went to work, stayed alive, and wash, rinse, repeat.
It was easy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Life
And
was easy.
people think I'm crazy when I said I'd go back in a heartbeat, but it's true. I would. It's compared to the civilian life out here. I mean, they don't know how bad they got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I say it all the time. I'd go back if I could.
Yeah.
Not
So
now with a family. I wouldn't do it now with family.
well, and
Yeah.
I'm now shaped like a rucksack. So I mean,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
let me ask you this, man. So did you do your whole career there at the 101st, or
I did a little bit of guard time as well,
okay, all right, yeah, boy, that's
but
another
it
group of
was
people
it
that,
was all deployment.
yeah, I
I would
mean,
get out and send me back.
yep, you remember. I know this picture went viral. When the war was really getting bad and Iraq was going on and Afghanistan. I mean, the active army was just short. There's no way
Yep.
around it. You had guard units that was deploying to the United States area just to take over another base because there wasn't enough soldiers to occupy the base.
Exactly.
But the ones that did deploy, I mean, I remember seeing all the signs that said 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, my ass.
Yeah.
But and people don't think about this. I encountered it. So there was a guard unit out of Iowa that finally came up and they took over our area there at Hunter Army Airfield and was taking care of the day-to-day operations. But people don't understand. Like one of the guys that worked with us was a truck driver. He owned his own business, and now instead of driving his own truck, he was paying somebody else, and he was losing money. And he was an E4.
Yeah.
So I mean, his family's used to living to one certain income, and now he's dropped to E4 pay. People don't understand the sacrifice that goes behind the reserves and the guard. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I've had a lot of guys that I served with, and they're like, I'd go back active in a heart. This was useless.
Yeah, I mean, at least you knew the income you were going to make. It wasn't going to change. If it did anything, it went up. And if it did go down, it's because you really screwed up.
Right. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, man. So when you ended up getting out, what if you don't mind me asking, what was it that caused you to get out?
I was medically retired. So after I got injured in Afghanistan, broke my back in multiple spots. Hit both shoulders hit. A lot of head injuries.
Okay.
I had my shoulders rebuilt. My back was still is.
Yeah.
Um, they just said you're done. I wasn't able to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Said I'd
Yeah,
be lucky.
man. That story unfortunately is too common, and we can talk all day long about Gold Star families and everything else, but there is a lot of soldiers out there that are living day to day with injuries, whether it be mental or physical. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of soldiers that are stuck living the rest of their life, hurt, in pain, and struggling with, and I'm not going to talk bad about the VA. The VA does a great job in the big scheme of things, but there's a lot of gaps in their programs that they just can't get into the weeds of it. They're so big and their funding is so small that There's just only so much they can do, and that's where organizations like yourself and the things I'm doing and the things that other people on the show has been doing, that's where we pick up the slack. It's not about the fame, the glory, or and how big you can get. It's we're literally picking the ones that are getting through the cracks and trying to help. It's
Right.
one team, one fight. So tell everybody a little bit about your organization and how it came about.
So we're Ultimate Veteran Adventures. We're 501(c)(3), take veterans currently serving, our family members, and first responders, fire, police, and METs on hunting and fishing trips all over the country, free of charge. You just have to get there. You don't get
Okay.
travel or anything like that. Very small. Um, we so how we started. Um, after I was always a hunter, big hunter, and outdoor hunter fisherman. So after I got hurt, I was told I didn't, and how am I going to hunt? How am I going to do this? And I used, I used the outdoors as my therapy, as my motivation. And I've been on a bunch of, well, I was on a trip. It was a veteran organization, veterans trip, and it was really bad. And it just was not a good trip, not a good experience.
Yeah.
And while I was there, when I talked to a buddy, we need to do this on our own. Let's start our own thing. Let's figure out, let's take the bad and learn from the bad things. And there's some really great ones out there. Amazing. I've been on some. They're unbelievable. Let's pull from the good that we know and learn from the bad ones. Let's make our own.
Yeah.
And that's just what we did. We just applied for a 501. Everything basically was out of pocket for the most
Yeah.
part. We had one big sponsor that he was a garage in Pennsylvania. That's where we started in Pennsylvania. And he was a former Marine, and like I like what you're about, like you guys are doing. And he donated some money, and we were kind of the startup. That was in 2016.
Okay.
Um, we've been going strong since. So I mean, we're small. For instance, last year, 2022, we took out 153 veterans and family members, 36 events to 11 states. We did on a $15,000 event. We
Wow.
don't have a lot of money, but 100% of what we bring in goes right back. So that's one thing that sets us apart is we are truly 100%, and we do a lot. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
work our butts off,
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah. So my first experience with organizations like this. So I moved from Georgia to Missouri here, and I came across this group called Mo Vets Outdoors.
Yeah.
Right? You've heard of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. Anthony Larson is an amazing dude, man.
I love him.
Yeah,
Yes.
the hours that he puts into this, and now that the bunkhouse that they're
Yep.
building, dude, when he went away from the VFW, maybe at the time he thought that, man, it kind of sucks what's happening, because they kind of quit promoting the program.
Yep.
But I think that was God sent, because
Yes.
now the people that he's touching, and I went to Betapalooza last year, and
Oh yeah.
what an amazing event, man.
Yeah.
You know,
We,
so
uh, we
yeah.
actually partner up. Uh,
Did
we,
you?
we we do. Yeah. Um, we've done events together, combined events.
Dude, that
Um,
is awesome.
they're one organization that I will wholeheartedly support. I will put everything behind them. I love what they're about. I love what they do.
Yeah.
Anthony's one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, he puts
absolutely.
so many hours, he takes so many hours away from his family to
Yes.
support that organization.
Yeah.
It is truly uh, an amazing organization. Every year we do a suckerfish gigging trip. It's sponsored. There's a little association here in Missouri that sponsors it, and they get a whole bunch of boats together, and we take soldiers. Last year we caught 175 suckerfish. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
there was like 5 boats. They cleaned all of the fish for the veterans. The next morning, I mean, they provided cabins for us to sleep in, and then the next morning, the little downtown restaurant had us all come down there and paid for breakfast for us to eat. I mean, dude, it
Yeah,
was amazing. And Anthony again helped provide soldiers and everything to get people out there on it. And my hat's off to him, man.
yeah. He's doing a great job. We actually took Anthony on his first. He does so much for other vets. He doesn't never has gone on an event himself.
Right? Yeah.
Everything he does is for low vets.
Yep.
And we do a big waterfowl hunt in Tennessee every year. And I called Anthony. I was like, "You're going. You're one of the vets select." Well, I don't know. You're going. So he ended up coming, and
Yeah,
you
man.
could tell it was he needed it.
Yeah, man. That waterfowl is his vice.
Yeah,
I mean, he loves goose and duck and everything.
same. Yep, that's what we. Yeah, we both were very much alike, and such a great guy. Such a great
My budget is squirrel and deer. That's about what my budget consists of.
guy. Yeah,
Waterfowl's
start
expensive. Yeah,
don't
it's
start
expensive,
waterfowl,
man.
man. Yeah,
Yeah, I spend a lot of time squirrel hunting, man. Mostly, I don't even care if I shoot anything. I just get out in the woods and clear my mind. I don't get any cell phone service, so I mean, it's just amazing. That's what I love about it. I
yeah.
go out there and sit. Sometimes I'll take my dog. Sometimes I won't. And I just be alone and unwind. You know. So yeah,
Therapeutic.
yeah, it is. It truly is, man.
That's
Um,
why we do what we do. Is I know how much how much others and help.
yeah. And so that's kind of where we started this podcast from, was something real similar to how you guys started your organization. We me and my old person Doug, he used to partner with me, and that's why it's called Two Drunk Dudes. So we went to the local VFW, and we wanted to get involved. Shortly after I moved back to Missouri, and he offered me a job where he worked at as a supervisor, and I closed my business. I owned a trucking company, and I came back here to help take care of my mom, and I had a job for me. So we went to the local VFW, and just like you said, man, it wasn't the experience that it seemed more about being clicky
Mm-hmm.
and everything else than it really was about helping vets. So we started this podcast to basically be a network, a place to bring the small little organizations that don't have the Garth Brooks celebrity money to get
Right.
noticed, and and everything else. And it's turned out great. It's turned out more therapeutic for myself than I actually thought it would. You know, and I've talked to so many people and so many different organizations. I probably do on average 4 to 5 podcasts a week, as far as interviews. And unfortunately, my budget only allows me to upload a certain amount a month. But
Right.
you know, everything, I don't have any sponsors. I do it all on my own. And I came across another organization just here recently. I'm super excited about, because when I was in the military, I loved racing, and I had a little 4 cylinder. I raced in the mini stock division. I found an organization that runs in it's called the Champ Series Enduro Racing,
Okay.
and they get sponsors to build a car, and they put veterans in it to drive it. I mean, yeah, dude. I just now finally got the time set up for them to come on the show. So the fact what I was the point I was getting at, it was just all these different organizations that I've never heard of. Until I met Anthony, I never knew there was organizations taking veterans out there to go hunting and fishing and everything else that they do. You know, I didn't know about you guys. I didn't know there's another place called Purple Heart Homes. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Have
They when I did that interview, I thought, this was kind of like tunnel for towers is what I thought. And I thought it was just a small little organization, man. It turned out they are huge.
Hmm.
And they focus more on aging veterans. And
Okay.
man, I was like, holy cow, the thought process of I didn't even think about that group. Whether you deployed, didn't deploy, or whatever, but you're now 60, 70 years old and you can't upkeep on your house. You weren't injured before, but now you need a wheelchair, so your house ain't accessible. I mean, that whole group was just being forgot about, you
Okay.
know. And to have, I'm humble about how many people a day and all the different organizations out there. And that's why I say, we pick up the brunt load of it. The VA has its programs, but at the end of the day, if the soldier isn't happy, there's nothing there to say, hey, let's adjust this, let's fix it. No, it's this is our program. It either works for you or it don't. And I think that's where organizations like yourself, um, comes into play, and it picks up that soldier that fell through the cracks. Because I mean, let's face it, it's hit or miss with the VA. If you live in Baltimore and you go to a VA, you are not going to go and get the same experience you'll get from a 1,500 population town that has a VA clinic in it. You know, so it's it's important to have organizations like yourself that even if you're doing nothing else but providing a day to help that soldier, clear his mind and live another day to get through tomorrow. And that's exactly what it's all about. And I think there's a lot of people out there that just forget that sometimes that's what you need is you need that person that can say, hey, let's forget about these problems, let's worry about that tomorrow, let's get through today you know
Yeah.
So, my hat's off to what you guys do because it ain't easy. I've watched Anthony and I know the hours he spends, and I know the hours that you guys are probably spending putting these hunts together and fishing trips. What kind of events all do you do?
We do anything, honestly. We do family whitewater rafting trips. So we bring the whole family together. We do
Oh,
that every
wow.
year, Pennsylvania. We do a lot of hunting and fishing, mainly waterfowl. Just 'cause
Okay.
it's easy. You can get more bang for your buck, if you will, because you can get more bets out for the
Yeah.
price. And it's harder to find deer woods,
Yeah.
guys that want to donate their land for us to shoot a deer.
Yeah.
Um, we do one or two deer hunts every year. We do a couple turkey hunts every year. Um, I mean, we're open if someone says, "Hey, let's go do a raccoon hunt." Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
We don't care. But we do a lot of waterfowl. Um, again, price wise, it's more convenient for us to do that because you can get more out.
Yeah.
Also, sitting in the duck line, you can talk the whole time.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about
You can
that.
have a good time. It's more the camaraderie aspect. I
Yeah.
can't. That word's overused. That's what it is. Whereas
Yep.
you're sitting by yourself, you're quiet all day long. Have an
Thank you.
hour or two at night, and that's it. Whatever.
Yep.
Here all day long, you're in a duck line. You can talk. You can build that friendships. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And
that
I
yeah.
never even thought about that with the deer hunts. You are absolutely right. The whole purpose is to surround the veterans with like-minded people. Hopefully phone numbers and Facebook accounts or everything's being swapped, and when they go back to their lifestyle, they have a lifeline to reach out, somebody
Yep.
that they related to during that event. So I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right, man.
That's why
Deer,
we kind of focus on it. I mean, we just did a hunt in New York a couple weeks ago, and we didn't fire a shot. It was snow goose hunt. It was not a good experience, good hunt,
yeah,
but the guys had a blast. We're all day you're sitting in a blind, being just talking, eating meals, hanging out, laughing, having a good time, and some of our best friends are made from these hunts.
yeah,
Not guys I served
absolutely.
with, guys
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing that I think probably baffles a lot of people that they don't understand that never served. Just like me and you have never met, and man, we can relate to each other like we've been long, buddies.
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah,
and a
exactly.
veteran, and it doesn't matter what branch, you know, you could be Marines, I could be Army, and we're going to give each other shit, but it better not
We
happen
are.
from somebody who didn't serve, you know, and we
Yep.
can tell each other when we're hurting, and we can provide that support, even if it's that foot in your ass and say, hey, stop feeling sorry for yourself, get your ass up, you know, and at the end of the day,
Yep.
you don't see that in the civilian world. You know, people, you know, I work with a small company, you know, and there's probably a couple hundred people that work there. And I see people every day that I've never met in my life. We walk past each other and don't say hi. You know, you take the same size, you know, battalion, you know, it's got a couple hundred people in it, and they know 75% of each other, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's a
yeah, so
whole.
that's that's where we're at. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, that's the bonus for what you guys are doing, because once you get out, you feel isolated, and when you start realizing there is other veterans around, there's other people. Oh, holy shit, you've been in the same sandbox as I've been. You were at the same place. Oh, I was there a year ago. Now
Yeah.
that is built between you and him because you can relate. You both were in the same places. You know, everybody knows Bagram and Disney. You know, you walk with your right hand up because Disney
It's just,
Avenue is nothing but
yep.
officers walking down. You know,
Hmm.
and at the end of the day, it's the little things. You know, and people don't understand that about how, you know, TBI and PTSD starts affecting you, and you forget. You know, I did have a bad old buddy at one day, and it gets so dark that you forget to reach out, you know. So I do get it. It's important that as a network we surround ourselves with each other. So
And one thing we do, we take out callbacks. We don't care. We serve honorably.
yep,
We've taken World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the way up to current day.
that is awesome,
Um,
dude.
and we've taken guys that have never deployed
Yeah,
because that's not their fault.
yeah.
When they serve, it's not their fault.
I mean, we were
Taking
just
them out
talking about
on,
we were just talking about how at the end of the day, you know, we were so short. Somebody had to man the
yeah,
front.
yeah,
You
yep,
know, it doesn't matter whether you were in the sandbox or if you were, you know, doing your job here in the United States. It took everybody
yeah.
to last 20 years to where we're at, you know.
We've, those guys we've had on the same trip where you get guys that serve 10 years, never deployed, and guys that serve 2 years and have two deployments, and
Yeah,
they're on the same trip.
yeah,
They're getting along so great. They're building friendship because that guy that never deployed has issues because he feels guilty that he didn't deploy.
yeah,
It's not your fault. Like that was one thing we were very adamant about when we started this. All that we don't care. There's so many out there. Only a Purple Heart, only Valor, only
yeah,
amputee, only no, it's not fair.
yeah. No, I agree. And there's been, so I remember when the war first kicked off, you know, and everybody was getting their combat patches. Internally, there was a little bit of, you know, listen here, buddy, you know,
Yep,
FNG, you haven't gotten your
yep,
wings wet yet, you know.
yep.
And then there was, you know, there's always been the airborne versus the leg. So I mean, internally, there's always been a little bit of that shit, and maybe part of that is what ended up causing some of that you know, people feeling less because they didn't deploy, you know. But I'm going to tell you, I've heard so many people since I've gotten out have said the same thing. It didn't matter whether you were an 11 Bravo and you were out of the wire every day, or if you was that pack clerk that was working in a building every day dealing with mortars and rockets and everything else. You know, PTSD affects everybody a little bit different, and it doesn't matter. You know, we all came from different backgrounds, and I'm sure some of that even comes into play on how you dealt with it. You know, somebody that was used to hearing gunshots every day in their neighborhood as they were growing up probably handles things a little bit different than that person that lived in a good suburb that never had those problems, you know. So it might take a little bit more to trigger that person than that other person that, that didn't deal with it. But at the end of the day, PTSD is PTSD. It affects everybody regardless of what your MOS was. And I've never looked down on anybody. I've always said in the army, you can be whoever you want to be, but you better be friends with the supply sergeant and the cooks.
Yeah.
you know,
Yep. And finance.
and
And
finance.
finance. You need that.
Yep. I don't give a shit what other MOSs you talk to. You can treat us mechanics like shit, but those other three, you better be
There's
friends with. Yeah, man, I completely agree. So, where do you see the organization going? If you could pick your path and your dream, where do you want to get to?
I think my overall, I would love property. We can bring vets here, have
Yeah,
them, house them, lodge them, do everything with them here. I mean, we're right here by Lake Erie, so I'm a charter captain. I have my own charter. I donate all the time. We take vets out. I vote all the time. I'm friends with other captains that all do the same. So we have tons of trips here.
yeah,
Good waterfowl hunting, good fish. That's my, I think that's my overall goal. I don't know if we'll ever make it or not because we're so small. We're not doing fundraising, but um, one day I'm hoping we'll have land and we'll do everything right here. Still send
yeah.
vets out on the hunts that we do. Not quite as often, just bring them in. But if that doesn't happen, and well, I'm hoping it happens. So we're not going to say it. Um, I think if we continue down the road we're at, we're not good at fundraising now.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to figure it out. Um, if we continue what we're doing, my goal is to be able to do one, maybe two dream trips, hunts of a lifetime, if you will,
Okay.
each year for a couple of events, whether that be either Alaska or Africa. Um, we are we are doing a waterfowl hunt in Alaska this year in November. We're taking 3 veterans out there.
That
Uh,
would be amazing.
yes, yeah. It was supposed to be last year. It I was donating the hunt, so we're trying to pay for airfare. So we're working on figuring out how to raise money for that.
Okay.
But because we don't pay for airfare normally, but this one we
Okay.
um, it was supposed to be last year. The guide had a family issue. Back to this November. So the guys, it's the same guys that were selected last year. They're just more to go this year. Um, I'm hoping that's every year event. We'll see. But we're also doing that. We're planning on. We put a down payment on it. So 2025 is our goal.
Okay.
Got to figure out how to raise the money. We want to, what we want to do is bring 4 vets and their wives.
Okay.
Um, that's going to be a big one. Try to figure out fundraising for it. But we do. Go ahead. You have something.
Oh, I was just gonna say because dude, all these things are running through my mind. So I've got I know a guy that is really good at fundraising. Um, his name is Jason Steiner, and they're out in Nebraska, and he has a 501c, and every year they put on this huge concert called Hero Stock. I'm gonna link you two up. On top of that, I just did a podcast with a place called Veterans Outdoor Foundation, and their sponsor does African tours.
Oh wow.
So I'm gonna
Okay.
link you guys up, and I don't know, maybe there's something out there that will come of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We're we're open to anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean
yeah.
that's right down there in that alley. I mean they literally just don't. So there was a veteran that they came across that um, was his wife was selling T-shirts to raise the money for her husband to his dream was to go on an African safari, and they reached out to their sponsor to see what kind of discount they could do or whatever they could get, and they were like, "No, we got you. He's going.
Wow.
Airfare, everything's paid, and it's for two. It's for him and his cousin.
Wow.
You know, that's
That's our goal is to be able to pay for airfare, tax through everything. Like
yeah,
for something like that. We want to do everything.
yeah.
But
So, absolutely,
our
man. I will link you two guys up, and hopefully, man, maybe there's enough room there that they can help you out or give you a discount or something, But
that would be
I'd have to go back and re-listen to the video. I'm sorry, my memory is shit, but I can't remember the name of the
same.
company that offers it. But I will definitely link you guys up. And the other thing, so the other project that we've started is I've started a radio station. So I came across so many people that their therapy has been music or comedy or something, and there's a lot of veterans out there that have just said, fuck it, I'm going to pursue this as a career. And so I started this radio station. It actually it's live now, but the official live date where I have all the bugs hopefully worked out and everything is May 1st. So what I'm going to do and obviously I'll get permission from all the events, but I'm going to create commercials for all these organizations that I interview, you know, just to help throw their name out there, and the goal from that is hopefully to get some of these artists sponsors and gigs and just to link up an entertainment because come around September time and there's a lot of people that are looking for veteran acts and stuff like that for 9/11 and the
Yeah.
July 4th area and all that stuff. So the goal is to again free advertisement for these
Yeah.
smaller organizations that just don't have the budget.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna lie, those commercials will help me because I didn't realize how many minutes was in a 24-hour period that you have to cover.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
No.
but yeah, man, and that's exactly where this podcast has came. We're here to try to be that hub and I like I said I do 5 or 6 interviews a week and different organizations of all sorts. So when I hear something like this, and I can link two people that might have never ever ran into each other
Sure.
otherwise, I feel like I kind of have a purpose. So it
And
makes me
we're trying to we just incorporated first responders. Just um, we've always wanted to, or just budget wise, and we decided just let's just do it, and we'll figure it out as we go.
yeah.
But we also do a lot of incorporating families. Um, it, we go on these trips, and it helps us.
Mm-hmm.
What about our family?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're here; they deal with us all the time.
Yep.
We get to go and relax and unwind. When we come home, they're still dealing with it.
Yep.
So we want to incorporate family stuff, or not again, more than what we do. And then going back to what we had started was like some of the trips we do, the events we do the family whitewater rafting. Um, we've done how many was it? We had like 40 or 50 something family members this in 2022 this past summer.
Yeah.
Um, kids, bring your. I mean, we had a family of 6 this year. They brought their little kids, and
Yeah.
it's an easy rafting. It's a nice, relaxing day on the water. Um, it's a veteran that owns the company, and he donates the whole day. So it's just us, and he caters it. He cooks for us at the end of the trip. We do a big cookout at the end. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A whole day on the water, picnic afterward. The whole family's invited. We're trying to do more stuff like that, which is for Africa. We want to bring. Why do we get to go and experience that, but they have can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they don't want to hunt. That's fine. If the guys can hunt. If the girls want to. That's on them. Want to do like a safari family, bring everyone out. Everyone gets a day out, to explore and whatever.
Well, I
We're
would tell
trying to do
you,
more stuff.
I would tell you that same organization that's got that safari sponsor. One of the fundraisers they do um, is a squirrel tournament, a squirrel hunt tournament. And like I told him, I said, man, that's awesome because more than you even realize. Because yeah, sure, you're raising a little bit of money for your organization, but you've now incorporated that father son hunting because that's where kid hunting starts. The first time the father takes his son hunting, it's usually squirrel hunting or rabbit hunting or something like that. And then they get addicted and then they turn into waterfowl and then you have to take out a loan. But I mean,
Yeah,
but it's a great, it might be another fundraiser idea, and it's right down what you're saying. It brings the father son together and incorporates family. There was another organization that we interviewed. It's called Veterans Exploratory Group or something like that. They were out of Colorado, and all of their trips are the veteran and their family, and they spend some time in together talking and everything else, and then they'll do rock climbing or whitewater rafting there in Colorado, and he was the first one I talked to that actually said, we bring the families in, and I was like, man, that is so important because
yes,
the veterans just don't talk to their spouses and their kids about what happened. Part of the thing is we didn't want our families to know about that type of stuff, and it makes it, it's a double-edged sword. You protect the innocence of the family, but then they don't understand what you're going through when
right.
when you get to that point where you can't handle things anymore. And that's exactly what happened with me. I never talked, until I retired, my wife didn't know anything about anything that happened. And my temper got worse, and my life started getting out of control. And then like I said, started my business. So I would literally drive for 650 miles a day with nothing better to do but to think. And it got worse and worse and worse until finally, you know, I had to do something. I had to reach out for help, or things were going to go the wrong way. And so big part of that is that, nobody understands. It's not like they can see you bleeding, so they don't know what to do,
Right.
you know? So yeah, again, my hat's off to you guys because I think that is truly important, you know, for some veterans. I'm obviously, you want the veteran to be in the shape to be able to start talking about it before you do that. But it's just important to reunite the families and show them a good time because you just never know what's going on behind closed doors. So yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's an important thing, and it's not easy to do, because now again, like you said, that's more people, that's more money, that's you know
Right.
and if you think about it, if you went to a lot of these businesses and said, hey, we're trying to raise money because we want to bring veteran families together, you're probably not going to get the same motivation to help you as if you said, hey, we're trying to help wounded warrior veterans. And it's unfortunate, but again, it goes back to how do you get that support, because without the dollars, man, it's tough.
And that's what we're running. We don't. I'm not good at asking, for that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
most
I'm
most of us veterans aren't.
I hunt, and that's I don't do the technical stuff. As you can tell, like I'm trying to figure this out. Um, I don't. That's not my forte by any means. But we're trying. We're trying.
Yep.
We got a 4-man board right now, and lost a board member. We're figuring it out as we go for the most.
Yeah. And I
Doing
think,
something right.
yep. And I think that's exactly what a lot of these small organizations do. And I think that's why they're veteran ran.
Yeah.
How many how many of us, was given accurate intel before we went on a mission? We just ran at it head first, man. you know, and that's just we hope that it was right, and we adjusted fire, and that's how I've lived my life, and I'm sure that's how you guys are running your organization, man.
Yeah, we just kind of go it. I was like, well, what's the plan for the rest of the year? I'm like, I don't know.
The plan is to help veterans.
We figure it out as we go. And they're like, I mean, we have a bunch of stuff planned out for the rest of the year, but not to the point where I don't know how we're going to pay for it yet.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out as we go. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Never not made it happen.
That was so we try to do events, much smaller scale than the one we do every year is the suckerfish trip. This year I set a goal. I wanted to take 10 veterans to a Cardinals baseball game, a Chiefs football game, a Blues hockey game, and then our fourth one being the suckerfish event. And yeah, man, I'm in that same boat. That's the goal, but where's the dollars?
Yeah. Well, if we can help you with the fishing trip, let me know. We'll gladly help.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
We always don't mind. We enjoy teaming up with other organizations, other like.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's a one team, one fight, man. There's no one organization out here that is going to solve every problem.
Yeah.
You know.
We've worked with many organizations, and my thought is we're all in it for the same reason.
Yeah.
And we've run across a bunch of them that hey, I'll ask, hey, how can we work? We don't need your help.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate, man, because you do get a lot of organizations that get so big they forget the cause.
Yep.
And the other thing, so I did a little bit of research a while back, and it shocked me how many homeless veterans there really is. You know, and so I decided this year, I'm going to do a jacket drive and try to get as many jackets as I can, and I'm going to go down to the homeless shelters and try to pass out as many veterans as I can to at least make sure they're warm.
Yeah.
I can't afford to put them in hotels and everything else, but at least try to give them some rain gear, some jackets, and do the best that I can.
Sure.
It shocked me, man. There's 37,000 as of 2021, so I'm sure those numbers have gone up.
Oh,
But there's 37,000 homeless veterans, and over 10,000 of them is in California. And then there's another like 3 or 4,000 in Florida, which I mean, that makes sense. The two warmest areas people migrated to. But the rest of them, Missouri alone had over 600 homeless veterans, you know. And I'm like, man, we're a Second Amendment state. We're pro veteran. How is this even acceptable? I don't care if it's one homeless veteran,
right.
there shouldn't be any. And again, I don't give a shit if you deployed, didn't deploy, if you were a pack clerk, an infantryman. I don't care, you know. And so that's one thing that I plan on doing later on, and I'll probably reach out to everybody and see if, we just can't get a united uh, jacket drive, even if, you guys want to use them for in your areas, just whatever it takes to
Sure.
at least try to keep people warm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's um there's an organization, I know they're in Pennsylvania. They mainly deal with homeless veterans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the whole organization's about. Um, they'll bring them in and feed them, go do stand downs, go out in the woods and find them and bring
Yeah.
them in, give them meals, clothes. But they're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to grow.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
that's another thing that Purple Heart Homes just started. So they became licensed to build tiny homes, and they've been building tiny homes. I don't know how many a year, and then donating them to homeless shelters for
Sure.
veterans. So, but again, man, that problem. You can house a veteran, but if you don't solve the issue why he's homeless to begin with,
Right.
you didn't accomplish anything.
Right.
And I hate to say it, man, but it comes down to money. If you try to go to the VA and say, hey, we need to figure out how to get somebody that's not homeless anymore, oh, and then provide medical and mental health stability for him. Oh, and then we need organizations to figure out how to get their IDs back and get them on the job market and get them. There's no money in that. That's nothing but outgoing expenses, and that's all they look at.
Yep.
There's no return for that. So it's a very complicated problem that I don't know that will ever get resolved. But if if organizations don't come together and try to do something, it's going to get out of control.
No, for sure, for sure.
You know,
And I mean, we mainly deal with the outdoors.
yeah,
We aren't opposed to doing other things either. As
yeah,
long as you're helping vets. I mean, last year for Christmas, well, no, yeah, no, 20, it was 2020. 2021 Christmas. Yeah, it was 2021. Um, we were very fortunate with some money coming in, and a lot of our a bunch of trips were had gotten canceled. Well, let's each board member pick one veteran that's in need, not one that asks, one that you know that's in need
yeah,
right for Christmas. And we got $250 gift card from Walmart.
dude,
We
that
got
is
five of
awesome.
them,
That
and
is awesome.
we just found that we didn't post anything on Facebook, we didn't put it on or anywhere. It was just something we did. Um, we called up five vets that we knew were in need, and basically the way we found them, for me anyway, I went to one of our pastors at the church. I went, hey, you know who's in need more than I know, because they're not going to come to me.
Yeah,
And he gave us a couple names of guys that were veterans. We reached out to them, and I was like, hey, I never talked to you before. I don't even know who you are. My name's Joe. With Veteran Adventures. They didn't pick up the phone. I left a message. Hey, I wanted to reach out. I have something for you for Christmas. If you want to give me a call, they all called me back. And I met up with them, handed them a $2 gift card, and a Christmas card, and Merry Christmas, hope yourself family.
yeah,
VA. That was it. Period.
yep,
We were fortunate with the money that came in, like I said, and let's we're not going to sit on it. It's not
yep,
what we do.
yeah,
Like COVID's shut down. Everything shut down. Um, all our trips got canceled. Couldn't do anything.
yeah,
We went out and bought Walmart gift cards and mailed them out to vets and you to get either we offered to do the grocery shopping for them. If they weren't able to get out, we gave them gift cards to, help alleviate some of that. It wasn't a lot, it was $50, but it was something.
yeah. And again, man, that could have been the difference between a week's worth of food. You know,
But we
it,
weren't going to sit on it, or that's just not who we are. We'll do anything, not just hunting and fishing.
yeah,
We make pens. We do pen making classes. These right here.
yep,
We go out and make a pen. We do forging classes, knife forging classes. We'll do anything. Bank. That's the bank. Whitetails Unlimited. National Wild. NW National Wild Federation. We'll just take them to a bank. Hey, we bought the table for you. Come on out with us. It's on us.
that's
Day out.
awesome. Yep,
Maybe they can't afford that $60 meal.
yeah,
And go to the banquet. So we buy a table and it gets other vets out to do something they might not be able to do. And it also gets our name out there too at the banquet, which is
yeah,
so
man, dude,
yeah,
that is,
we'll do anything we can.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is amazing, and that's right there is the difference. I mean, you sounded just like Anthony. Anthony's the same way, man. It is about helping veterans, and I've seen him do fundraisers for veteran families that was having a hard time, had nothing to do with hunting. And dude, my hat's off to you, man. That's where you can tell that somebody cares about the veteran community. You don't care about the likes and the size of your organization. It's about helping veterans in any way that you can possibly do it, dude. I appreciate that, man. It,
Thank you. We're just it's our way of still serving. It's our way of giving back. You
Yep.
know, we're all medically retired that run it. So we didn't want to get out. You know,
Right.
I'd still be in. I'd be at my 20. I'd be at 22 right
Yeah.
now, and my goal was 25 to 30. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
I, I,
serving.
I, I get it, man. And like I said earlier, there's therapy in helping as well. It part of, like you just said, I can't be in anymore, but I can still be in the community. And that's a big part, man.
Yeah, you kind of after you get out, I was good at my
Yeah.
and like, I feel like you almost don't have a purpose after you get out. But now
Yeah.
you have a purpose doing what you do. That's
Yep.
why it's so got to do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. And I've had that same issue going into the civilian world. I went from the army to my own business, and I worked for myself. So other than dealing with agents on the phone and a customer handing me paperwork, I didn't really have to deal with people, which I enjoyed. And now I'm working, and I tell my boss all the time, hey, I'm just letting you know you've exceeded my medication capabilities.
Uh,
I'm gonna go take a break. So, well, tell everybody a little bit about how they can find you and how they can sign up and how your events are out there for people to know about.
so we're find us on Facebook, Better Adventures on Facebook. We have Instagram, our UVA Foundation, our Instagram thing. We have a website. It's there. We're not good at it. We don't know. I don't know how to update it. I don't know what to do with it. So it's there. On contact us. I'll get an email at somehow I get an email. I don't know how it's back to me, but I get it. I don't know how to reply to it because it's through the website. So I'm gonna copy paste. But we are out there. You'll find us mainly on Facebook. What we do. We post everything to that. All of our events are posted to the page, and whatever rep is running that event, their email will be on that post with how you. Mainly, it's um, send your DD 214, your social blackout, showing honorable service. That's all we care about, honorable service.
Okay.
Um, so pretty much that's 99% of all trips are just honorably served. That's all it
Okay.
is. There's a few trips where the outfitter will donate or the guide will donate. Say, hey, I want purple heart, I want female, I want this. And we have to abide by that, but that's their
Right.
donated. But we do put that out there. Like I said, 99% of all on our boost. What we do then is once you email your, your proof of service to us, we take all the names, we put in a list, and we randomly draw them. Um, we always try to take new vets over returning vets whenever possible. Um, we try to get as many out as we can.
Right.
We don't want the same people over and over.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
we do have a backup list where of guys that last minute cancellations. I have a list that I call them. Hey, so and so, last minute, the
Yeah.
day before, whatever. Um, but for the most part, everything we do is new vets over return, and they the new vets will have priority. We do take out the same vets over a couple times, and if no
Yeah.
one else applies, they're coming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we that's pretty much how we do it. Everything's a random draw. We don't do it live on Facebook. We don't do that like a lot of guys put a number and then they'll pick a number. We just have a list of names and we actually let someone else pick.
Okay.
Um, fair that.
Yeah. I agree.
Um, that's pretty much it. I mean, you're gonna get out on a trip with us if you apply. It might not be the first time you apply, but we're gonna get you out because, especially as a new man, we're gonna do our best to get you out on something.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, Facebook, we put everything right there. Um, it's very all our posts into this address, and
Okay.
every all the criteria, whatever that event. That's pretty much how you find us.
All right. Yeah, man. So I will be sharing the shit out of everything that you guys post.
Awesome.
Um,
I appreciate that.
and now that I'm in my little studio, and once I get everything moved and settled in, I'm gonna start, like I said, I'm gonna start doing these little advertisements and throw them up on the little gun room radio that I got. And dude, I will blast everything that you guys do to try to reach as many people.
Awesome.
So
I appreciate that.
hey,
We
anytime.
we're actually doing a gun class. The guy just texted me here a few minutes ago. We're going to be doing a gun build class, building a Beowulf.
Oh wow.
You know, I got to look. I got to go in and read it, but it's 4 or 5 bets we're going to have. So all you have to do is provide the lower, and we're going to provide all the rest, everything else for you. And
That's awesome, man.
to go to his house, and we're going to sit there and build it. He's an FFL,
Yeah,
um, and he's going to run everything by how you build it, all the steps. We're going to, like I said, we'll provide all the parts. You provide your own lower because
because
you
it's registered.
FFL.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just, I looking at your background there. I was, well, yeah, we're going to be doing that. And then the guy texted too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I do hydrographics and everything else. So
So, yeah,
yeah.
awesome.
My buddy, he does a lot of Cerakoting. So
Mhm.
yeah. And that was his business. That's another reason why where the name came from was he was opening up a gun shop out of his house. And so we spent a lot of time in his little gun room, and that's where the name came from.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Well, if you ever need help with your website, I do websites.
Hmm.
So feel free to reach out to me,
Okay.
and if I can help you, I will, man.
Okay.
So
You'll have to look at it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, this is not good.
yeah. I'll be glad to, man. You just shoot me an email or some info, and I'll take a look at it for you.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Awesome.
But hey, I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah,
And
thank you
we'll
for
get the
having us.
word out, and hopefully we can get about 1 million people over there. All right, brother.
Hey, thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. You take care and be safe.
You too.
All right. Bye bye.